Actually, my parents trust me quite a lot.
No, actually we can tell.
Yeah.
Like
How you know? Based on what?
our conversations
Based on
over the
way
past
you
2
talk
years.
about your family.
Have we not been on
okay, yeah,
THP for 2
sorry.
years?
Suddenly, like, we are like
Like
strangers.
strangers, oh.
I got scolded before when I was on a train and I wasn't even on a reserve seat, but it was just this old auntie lah. Then she just like, then I told her like, if you ask nicely, I let you sit. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Hot Pot where we hop into different transitions in life. I'm Nick.
I'm Q.
I'm Joey, and today we're going to touch on a topic that isn't really talked about, and it is dealing with bad behavior from our parents. So when we're young, we have this mentality that parents are supposed to guide us and there's someone that we model after. But somehow along the way, the children might end up having to guide and correct them instead. So we are going to unravel this very complicated and sensitive topic.
Just a quick disclaimer as well before we kick off today's episode proper. Some of the anecdotes that we are sharing today and some of our opinions are based on personal stories and personal observations. They are not supposed to be stereotypes or reflective of an entire generation.
Okay, to start things off, do you all feel that in Singapore's culture, it makes it very hard and difficult to call our parents out for their bad behavior?
No, I think if it's in private, okay. Don't shame them because they very like 爱面子, they like, value their face.
I do think that it's a very blurred line between actually parenting your parent or just helping to correct some misconceptions or truths that don't exist in today's world anymore. Because they live in a very different version of Singapore and they were brought up by our grandparents who were also in a very different version of Singapore. I've definitely seen in my secondary school days a lot of the Chinese students having to correct their parents now that they are making more friends with like Malay and Indian classmates. Yeah, so I remember there was one time we were supposed to go over to a friend's house and the Chinese mother was like, who's coming? So usually you say the names, right? So you say the name that's like, oh, Shazana, like, oh, Malay ah. Then can you make sure that you know these people, you trust them, right? You make sure that everything in the house, they don't anyhow touch and they don't anyhow take. So then in that moment, the daughter's like, huh? What are you talking about? Like this, like, no, like my friends are fine. I'm coming over by. So I think that can be seen as rude, but that's also the best way that kid in that moment knew how to set the boundary, right?
Yeah. I think similarly to you, I had a recent incident back in Malaysia. So one of my relatives, their daughter is she's in her bad girl era.
Okay.
And then the entire family, right, was humiliating her in front of us. They were calling out how terrible she is. She's a very bad daughter. She doesn't want to study. And then at that point of time, actually, my sister and I broke the silence and we said, actually, you shouldn't be doing this. When you humiliate her like that, how would she feel? And in fact, she might actually end up
Being
worse.
being worse lah.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't respect the family. She doesn't feel safe with her family.
Then what he say?
He said, 是咩？是咩？你们不懂的啦，你们都不是父母。So he was saying like, you're not parents yet. How can you tell me what to do? Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like they come from a time where humiliation is the quickest way of punishment. And to them, it's like, see, now she's embarrassed, right? Then now she will correct. She'll self-correct.
They're using fear to
Fear and
correct
shame.
them.
Yeah.
No, but I just feel like a lot of times, a lot of the decision making is just very route one. Like, it's very cause and effect lah. Because of this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
There's no kind of like thinking at a deeper level.
No
like,
empathy.
What is the psychological reason? If I do this, what are like the potential, unseen repercussions and all that. So I feel like that's just like how they were brought up also.
Yes.
So it's very reactive. But then at the same time, I do feel that to a certain extent, with the younger generation, respect has been lost also. Yeah, with the way that sometimes the talking back to parents, I don't feel that it's healthy communication lah.
Yeah.
I feel like it goes both ways lah, where you don't want a parent to talk down to you, but at the same time they raise you, they take care of you and all that. And if all things considered, you are blessed to have like your basic needs met and all that for your parents, then there should be a bit of gratitude lah. Because there's always this, I realize that in TikTok comments, there's a movement now where it's like, I didn't ask to be born, what?
Which is true. I mean, sometimes I relate to that.
But I find that like very just
Ungrateful lah. Yeah, it's true lah. Yeah.
I feel like for communication to happen, both parties need to be emotionally mature.
Correct.
But a lot of times, I feel like now, especially the internet is essentially raising a lot of the young kids, and they take this home, and it's a very foreign concept, and they expect their parents to grasp it.
Understand, yeah.
But then sometimes the parents are maybe from a different time, like we said, or not as educated. Then they cannot grasp it. Then there's that disconnect, right? Then how do they move forward?
This reminds me of during GE, someone said derogatory term, right? So I remember correcting a relative as well about this term, and then they couldn't understand it. To them, it's just, but it's just a nickname.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a term. But why is it harmful? And we struggled to explain it to them.
So whenever I encounter these things, right, I always ask, do you have any Indian friends? Do you have any Malay friends? And if you do, would you say this word in front of them? No lah, they want... So if you won't say in front of them, it's not really a nickname, right? It's not endearing. Nicknames are for endearment or efficiency in calling someone. If this is a nickname that you only use within your Chinese friends, then it's not really a nickname, right? It's meant to mock.
I think I'll just tell them that like you'll get in trouble if you say something like that in today's society, because I feel like a lot of times they feel that, or they don't consider the repercussions of what they say lor. Okay, basic example was I was in a taxi the other day, and then the taxi driver was making this sort of like comments lah. Then I said, hey, you say this kind of thing.
Comments?
Yeah, uncle, you say this kind of thing, you go out, right? You will kena
whack.
If you don't end up losing your job, you might even kena whack, that kind. But then when I called him out on it, then he felt very like, he just got very defensive lor.
Yes. Yeah, they do
You
get
say
very...
you go and post you report me Yeah, but to me, it's also a case where because you're not as educated about the world, then these are the beliefs that you have lah. Okay, so the examples that we've been talking about have been a bit like, racial in nature. What are some other examples of bad behavior from parents or the older generation that you've seen?
So my relative was basically saying that he was very angry because there was no one offering his wife a seat on the train. And I said, yes, we have context. We know that she cannot stand on her own. We know that she's unwell, and so she deserves the seat. But people don't know that. And people also have tiring days.
Yeah,
maybe they're also unwell. There are also non-visible disabilities. It's a train, it's a public train. You don't really need to deserve a seat. The seat is there. You can sit down.
Right.
But I think to some level, we also owe each other a bit of empathy. And so you just need to ask, right? So then he said, yeah, so I asked, then they don't want. Then I'm like, okay, if they ask and they don't want, then why would you keep asking that one person?
Yeah.
Like, why do you force? Why must you have your way with that one person? Ask the next person.
They just want to be right.
I feel like even if it's me, right, and I go and ask a few people, right, I tell them like, hey, sorry, I'm not feeling well. Can you let me have a seat? I bet like, even if the first one don't let me sit, right, by the second or third one, I will get a seat.
No, honestly, it's because you're genuine, you're sincere. People can tell when you actually need help, when you actually need to take that seat lah. So I think it's really being polite.
I got scolded before when I was on a train, and I wasn't even on a reserved seat, but it was just this old auntie lah. Then she just like, then I told her like, if you ask nicely, I let you sit. Then she just like refused to engage, right? Then she go and ask somebody else. Then she go somewhere else and did the same thing.
Embarrass her?
Yeah. The other thing also is
really?
sometimes like I see like the wet market behavior also not great lah. Like they will chiong to go and queue for, or like cut queue, or like when they are sitting at the coffee shop or in the bus, then they'll put their feet up.
Oh yeah. It reminds me of a certain demographic of uncles where they play their music or their shows out loud in the MRT, the bus. Hello, there's like AirPods and earphones. But they don't know how to use. But with the wired kind, right? Yeah. Like, you don't tell me you don't know how to use. Just plug it in.
Yeah. I think that there's an added layer of it. It is their resistance to technology.
Yeah.
One is inconvenient because now they need to bring another thing out of the house. And also, they don't want to learn how to use it, whether it's Bluetooth or wired.
And I think it also links back to weaponized incompetence, right? It's like, I'm so old already. You should take care of me. You should be the one helping me set up my computer, setting up the Wi-Fi. I always forget the steps. So you do it lah, since you're the one that's the young one.
But actually, based on this, right, I feel like they also recognize that like we are exposed to a lot of the world and are educated. So sometimes I feel like that helps in them being more accepting of the things that you say.
But I think there are a group of seniors who are just really selfish and they would not be receptive to what the youngsters have to say because to them, old means knowing more, old means wiser. So even if we are more educated and we know more about the world, right? To them, it's like, you all don't know. I've lived through all these years. You don't know what I've gone through.
They think that us making something more convenient or telling them then like erases all the hard work they've done in their lives. Which, to be fair, we've had therapy. We have access to therapy and they don't. And they've gone through very traumatic things like the war or like recession. So I understand that they have a lot of pent up things, but it's just proof that they don't have an outlet law. Okay, but on that note, right, what you said earlier, do you find that sometimes your parents will not take it from you, but if your friend or their friends say the exact same thing, they will listen?
Actually, my parents trust me quite a lot.
No, actually we can tell.
Yeah.
Like,
How you know? Based on what?
our conversations over the past 2 years.
Talk about your family.
Have we not been on
okay, yeah,
CHP for 2 years?
Suddenly, like we are like
Like
strangers,
strangers,
meeting for the first time.
We talk about
random.
Uncle Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff Yim.
Sam.
Jefferson Yim,
Oh my god, I remember your dad's name.
Yeah.
Uncle Jeff seems to be a really wise man.
Both lah. Auntie Debbie also.
Debbie, shout out.
Debbie and Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you do look like you have a mom called Debbie.
Yeah, so they will ask my opinions for things. Like, so if they are like, for example, renovating their house recently, then they'll ask me this one how to do or what to get, any recommendations. Even with my dad, he has quite strong political beliefs. But even when I like then bring up a counterpoint, right, he will listen also.
Love that. Love that for you. Love that for you.
I love that.
On that point, I wanted to ask you guys, how do you all sit your parents down to educate them or correct them?
I feel like I've never had to sit them down. It's always like if they bring up something in passing, then I will just latch onto that point. But it wouldn't be like reprimanding. It's more like you just ask questions.
Okay, example, I used a racist term.
No, then I will just give an anecdotal experience. In the news, somebody did this, then they kena this.
Oh, then use
Also, he
fear.
used
happened to
fear.
you,
Using
ah.
fear.
Yeah.
Oh, I go the other route.
Okay.
So I feel like with older generation, you must speak their language. This one you dare to say, I cannot.
Yeah.
No, so
Yeah,
you're
you
also
must-
using fear.
So I
mah?
say, no, you cannot say it. Then they say, why? I say, because you hurt people's feelings. You're not scared to hurt people's feelings.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's using empathy. You're using fear.
Fear.
Yeah, I think must have consequence.
I think you must see who you're talking to. Not to generalize, but this is just like super general. Aunties will be more afraid of hurting someone's feelings because they don't want to be an asshole. Then uncles usually they'll be more afraid of like doing something wrong. Then they kena like scolded or like caught, then embarrassed,
Yeah.
you know? Because that's more like pride and ego.
For me, I will try to get them to put themselves in the position of the other person. So then it's also empathy, but it's like, if it happened to you, how would you feel?
But that's not okay one what? Then like, okay, just because you are okay, that's good for you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that someone else is okay, right? Yeah.
But it's also because after this interaction with you, right, then they go back to the echo chamber of their friend group. And then they probably
like bad influence. Oh my god, they
Correct.
basically have bad influence in old age also
I really had to tell a relative, I said, I know you are not a racist, even though inside,
Yeah.
different story. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you are not. But people who don't know you, they will think you are. And if you're okay with people thinking that you are racist or an asshole, then okay lah. But I'm just telling you that people are aware now. People are smarter. Then after that, they will self-correct. I feel like you cannot expect them on the spot to say, you are right. Thank you for educating me. I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Not possible from a lot of people, even our age.
Or you can actually make them feel like they're getting smarter and then ask them to educate their friends. So then they're the smart one in the friend group.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like,
So
I'm the one.
on this friend thing, to your point, right? Like a running joke with my father-in-law, right, who is great by the way. We always recommend like restaurants or places to eat, like to him. Then he will be like
Share with his friends.
not particularly keen or lukewarm. Then like he will never go. But then after that, like maybe 1 year later, right, he will go because his friend bring him, right? Then he will come and tell us like, hey, you all should go and eat at this place. Very nice.
So it's really one of those things where sometimes you say they don't listen, they just
Yeah.
don't clock. But then someone else could say the exact same thing, right? And then they're like, hey, You know, have you
Yeah.
heard? I'm like, I told you
It's the
this.
same. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
but this one quite harmless lah.
Yeah lah.
It's harmless, but it's funny, right?
Yeah, funny.
It's the same thing. Like, you don't take advice from your best friend or your friends, but when you read it online, you're like, oh, this is so smart. You're like, hey, that's what
Like, I
we've been
literally
telling
said that,
you.
yeah.
I mean, I do feel for them because they grew up in a very different Singapore, let alone different world now. We have access to a lot more information. We can even develop different perspectives that can help with empathy because we are watching someone else's problem every couple seconds. We absorb so much, but they don't. They only see it firsthand if their friends tell them. And sometimes if their friends tell them also, it might not clock as quickly and effectively. This is where I struggle a little bit. Where, yes, I understand your circumstances are as such. You grew up in a very different world. But now the opportunity is presented to you to absorb because you are still alive the same time we are. We are also living the world for the first time like this. But you are the one that's resistant to learning and change.
But I think it's also a case where, to their credit, they don't just accept change for change's sake. Because I do think that the world has overcorrected a bit and we are all a bit overly sensitive now.
Agree.
So for them, it's a case of like, why just because like, this is the popular sentiment now, must I adhere to, must I follow this? Because things were simpler when, we were all less offended by everything. I just feel like their generation probably they had more important things to worry about, like survival.
Yeah.
Basically, if you look at like the hierarchy of needs, right, people will worry about like putting food on the table.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey,
She offended me.
called me this.
Mm.
Like,
I think going back to empathy, we've mentioned before that it's our parents' first time living as well. They're all experiencing this for the first time. They don't really know how to navigate the changes in the world, things getting updated, right? So I do think that we need to treat them with a bit more kindness and patience because for us, it's like we are learning new things every single day as well as doom scrolling, we're absorbing new information. But for them, it's just way too fast to absorb all this new information.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we don't villainize them. That's the most important thing, that you don't, and they're just assholes lah. They don't understand. I think ignorance also can come from literally just being ignorant, like not knowing what's happening. You just need to have the empathy yourself as well to educate them and tell them and give them time.
In general, I feel like a lot of it is dependent on you as the one that's communicating and trying to shape an opinion, how well you do it. Because I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to correcting their parents' behavior, it always defaults into like reprimanding. Like, hey, mommy, you cannot like that. Oh, papa, you cannot like that. But it's not proper communication, ma.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk to a friend like that.
Yeah.
And then now people don't even talk to their own children like that. So why would we talk to our parents like that if you want to change a certain behavior?
It's a bad habit lah, for
Because
sure.
it makes them feel bad also, ma.
I remember losing my patience with my dad before, and then he was like, 为什么我每次跟你讲话你会这样跟我讲话? As in, to him, it's like, why are you so impatient with me? And why do we keep giving up on teaching him and like letting him relearn stuff? But I think from the receiving end, it might come off like they are also being lazy. Because I've taught you 10 times, but every single time you forget the first step. So from my point of view, it might also look like you are just pretending to learn and then just relying on someone else to do the work for you, which is a bit like the weaponized incompetence lah. But what I've learned when it comes to navigating this with my parents, right, is being a kid again. So I think my dad, right, loves it when I a bit act cute. So if I'm being too serious, I think he's not gonna be as receptive. But when I tease him a little bit and when I banter a little bit, then he'll start to laugh and then he'll like pay more attention to it. Yeah, so I feel like we just need to make sure the approach is how they would want to receive. It's a bit like love language, I feel.
Right? Yeah.
Question part! Oh wow, very extra. It's giving
I
Hugh
go
Jackman.
first. What's one small thing that made your day recently? My mom knew that I didn't have enough time to go buy my own lunch. And she was very busy as well because she was accompanying my dad to go visit the doctor. But then she rushed, right, to buy me mee pok.
Wow.
Oh, that's why today you texted don't eat lunch already.
Yeah, because
Wow,
I
what a
actually
flex.
wanted to just tap out with you guys, right? But then I woke up, I went to the dining area, then got mee pok there.
That's a blessing. I can't remember the last time I woke up to mee pok there.
If you had to choose one reality show to join as a participant, which would you pick?
Oh my god!
Wait, we talked about this before.
I want this
Physical 100.
No, they're all rigged for men, don't want. I will pick like Devil's Plan, that kind.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
gonna
Be
be
quite
good.
good.
Actually,
Either
the two
that-
of y'all should go.
Either Devil's Plan or like the Home Master Chef kind.
Oh.
Comment down below if you think that you got watch to do a Singapore version of Devil's Plan.
Oh my god, that would be so fun!
Then they make you the host, then you cannot play.
Oh man. What is a fictional creature that best describes you? The
Monsters Inc. Sully.
Oh. I feel like
No, Mike Wazowski.
I am Albus Dumbledore's Phoenix.
No, you're Bobby from...
Bobby.
You're Bobby from Jimmy Neutron.
Who's Bobby?
He's the front student. And he was slap, 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 clap, clap, clap.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I know! He's the wrong guy, right?
Slap, 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 clap, clap, clap. Did y'all hear about the YouTuber Issa Sung and her dad? So essentially, she's a pretty big like fashion lifestyle influencer. Her dad's a chef. Recently, there was an influencer that was engaged by her dad's marketing side and basically to try the food in his new restaurant. And he was there with another waitstaff who were not expecting her presence. And so when she came in, she said she was here for the tasting and they were like, who are you? And they asked for her handle, and in front of her, they actually went to open up her handle and started mocking her numbers and her videos. And he said, my daughter has more followers than you. And so very nasty. The girl was very traumatized and she was just like, look, I'm just here to have the meal. They're like, must be a mistake, blah, blah. Her boyfriend came in, saw her crying, they left, and she made a video. People quickly deduced what restaurant and who owns it and started bashing Issa and her brothers online. So they were commenting on their socials like, your dad is terrible, like how can you not like teach him? But then there were a lot of people also who came to her defense and started saying like, I know what it's like living with a pegro or aggressive dad. I know what it's like living with a narcissist father. Like he's not gonna listen, and anything you do will cause your relationship to sour even more. And so people were empathizing with her, and there were two quite distinct camps. So a couple of days later, she actually posted a video apologizing for her dad and saying that they've always known that his temper was like this. This is how they grew up. They're also trying to navigate this. And it was just one of those things where you watch and you're like, it's so tough because
She never do anything
It's
wrong.
not her
She didn't do
responsibility
anything
to
wrong.
cover his mistakes, ma.
he brought her into this by referencing his daughter and said, my daughter has more followers than you.
Yeah.
And it was just very interesting to see all that there are people who still blame the kid for the parents' mistake.
So actually, how much responsibility do you think you have as a child for your parents' bad behavior? Like if you are unable to fix their bad behavior, does that reflect poorly on you?
No,
Not at
I
all.
don't think so. I'll just reference back to something that's very simple in my life is that my dad likes to play mahjong. I've mentioned this quite a few times already. Every day there are strangers in the house. And then I think our neighbors also can hear them playing mahjong every single day. And if one day our neighbors actually come to me to scold me and like, you didn't teach your father, you didn't tell your father that this is inconsiderate, right? To me, I've done my part to try to educate him. And if from his point of view is that this is my house, this is my hobby, why should I not be able to explore this, right?
Yeah.
Then what else can I do? I cannot like freaking burn the table, right? Or like throw the towels away. Like I
Or buy
cannot
the
do that.
auto table that don't need to...
Hey, idea.
Christmas present.
But I think to me, I can understand the point about trying to sit them down to educate them about how it affects other people beyond themselves. But they just cannot understand. They just, to them, it's really, I'm also living my best life, ma.
I think that it's a case where this is where it's very different from parenting a child, because this child is not an autonomous being,
Correct.
right? They are still dependent on you to tell them what is right and what is wrong. If your child behaves poorly, by the way, to me that is on the parent.
Yeah.
But if your parent behaves poorly, then there's only
It's
so much
on
you
their
can.
parent.
It's only so much. Yeah, true lah. It's only so much you can do, ma. Because this is a
Yeah.
grown adult,
Yeah.
and
It's a
like you
grown
cannot force
adult.
them to do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I go back Malaysia scold my 阿嬷. Just kidding. 阿嬷你懂哦，爸爸每次打我这样欸。Yeah, and it's a very awkward relationship because we are the child and we have been under their wings, right? And being the one that's taught. But then to reverse that, it's like a student teaching a teacher. It's like, huh?
Right.
It's a very awkward dynamic.
But do you think that as your parents grow older, you have to take on more of a parent role in the household?
Of course.
Or like the lead role in the household?
Yes, I think money-wise, finances-wise, I think sometimes tech-wise also, like my brother and I, we just bought, and my sister, we just bought a computer for our dad. But it's in the past, it's always like my mom will settle all these problems. Like when the computer breaks down, my mom settles it. But now it's on us already.
But I don't feel like that's parental. I feel like that might
That's being
be
a child.
taking on more responsibility in the house.
I think that's being filial.
So, for example, you growing up, becoming an adult, becoming more like discerning,
Yeah.
you are financially independent. Do you then feel that your parents regress in that sense, where they expect to be taken care of, they are less independent?
I think it's very subjective because there are some parents who have been waiting for this. I mean, we know that there are some people who literally have kids as a secure retirement plan. And so in these cases, these people will just, okay lah, I'm ready because you're earning money already, I've done my job. But I'm on the camp that once you are a parent for life. And your kid should never parent you. Your kid can support and help you with things, but it should never change in roles where your child is now responsible for you.
Yeah.
Being a caregiver is also not being a parent. Because I feel like the parentification of a child really ruins them as people. We need parental figures, and people who don't have parental figures often seek a mentor or a guardian in school or within the family or family friends.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they are your mom or your dad.
But I mean, I guess I can imagine where, like, for so many years, right, you have all these responsibilities as a working adult and, like, the primary heads of the household, that when you retire and everybody, like, you know, you don't have all these responsibilities anymore, it can be quite liberating. But if you, like, take that to the extreme, right, and just like, oh, I don't care about
regret.
anything
Let go.
anymore,
Yeah,
right,
let
fully
go.
let go, then you end up being the dependent on people lah.
In Mandarin, we say 废物.
Yeah. Where it's like,
Useless.
someone will settle dinner or they can settle dinner myself. Even if I don't go and cook or buy food, right, I suffer ma. It's okay. Yeah.
And I'm super grateful that my parents are not like that. They have never expected money from us. It's more like if it happens, it happens, and thank you for that. And for right now also, they take care of themselves, they buy food themselves, they cook food themselves. But I think when it comes to a point where health hits, right, I do think that we need to,
Yeah, of course.
definitely need to step up. lah.
100%.
Yeah.
Within that vein, do you feel like if you don't call it out, you are now complicit? You are now enabling these behaviors?
Yeah.
I think if you don't call it out, yes. But
Yeah.
if you've tried and they still don't change, then you're not.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not going to make it my sole purpose and responsibility to change.
Your ikigai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To change my parents.
What the world needs.
Yeah.
What you can be paid for.
Correct.
Yeah, it's true. No, because I feel like at some point, right, you constantly correcting them will sour your relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like your grandparents or family members you don't really see all the time.
Yeah.
Like I literally will have to bite my tongue through some lunches. But my cousin and I know that, you know, they are the way they are. And as long as they're not harming people, like it's not my
you
responsibility.
don't harm people,
lah.
plus like you are accountable for your own words and your own actions. So if you
Correct.
get in trouble, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
lah.
Yeah.
But if they just irritate you,
Yeah.
just suck it up. Just suck it
if
up.
they irritate you, they annoy you, they say something slightly cancelable, then you just
just
thank
like-
God every day they're not a YouTuber lor. You have to pick your battles. I think that if it comes down to like, okay, if I call it out, right, it will ruin the whole lunch. Then maybe time and place also.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there needs to still be respect.
Imagine you, bam, go lah.
Stop it! You know that one kid in class suddenly shut up. Everybody.
Yeah. Then
Hey,
it's,
wow, I
always, it's the super quiet kid.
I really miss that guy. Alright, so how do you guys manage the balance between respecting your parents and also protecting your own mental health?
Move out. Yeah.
But if you know money?
Share with someone and move out.
Okay, it's true because I have no. To me, I mean, we've talked about it, right? Renting is sometimes throwing away money.
It's quite tall lah.
Sometimes, but I think it's based on circumstances. If it is affecting your mental health, that is the number one reason to move out. But I think if it's, in my case, for example, if let's say I'm still staying with my parents and it's not to the point where I feel like my mental health is being compromised, right? Then I think it's just avoiding certain conversations, having boundaries, maybe staying in your room a little bit longer when you hear things going on outside, you know what I mean? And then just don't put yourself in that situation where you feel triggered, lor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, if it's something that we've talked about before, then I won't start the conversation. I'll be like, you know how I feel about this, but okay, let's move on. Yeah, I will still state my boundary and be like, okay, we can agree to disagree. Let's just enjoy our dinner.
Yeah. Okay, to wrap it up, what advice would you give to our listeners who feel trapped in this dilemma?
Break it down into two categories. What is within your control and what is out of your control? If you think that you have what it takes and you have the power to make a change in this situation, then you go and say lah, like, Papa, I think you shouldn't do this.
Hey, that's me.
I think you should
不可以
consider
啊
this instead. But if you feel that like whatever you do is not going to make a difference, right, then no point letting it bug you or get to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it might also help to confide in people, because I feel like in general, when it comes to situations with the family, maybe it's a cousin or a sibling that you can share your concerns or struggles with, and then I feel like it always helps.
Yes, actually, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to have siblings because we sit down and have family meetings about situations and the concerns that we have, right? And then it's basically a team meeting, it's a town hall.
Yeah.
Man, for only children out there, talk to your cousins. I love my cousin. Shout out Chester.
Chester, hello.
Yeah. So during family lunches, sometimes somebody says something a bit sus, then we like, what the hell, yeah? Then we you feel less alone.
Yeah.
You feel seen. I think also then maybe the way you bring up these things, just be a little bit more aware. If you're more accusatory, people will go straight into defense mode and they will not want to listen. And if you already know that the person you're speaking to has that tendency, then maybe approach it from more of a, hey, I just want to say, these things really hurt me. I know that it's not your intention to hurt me. I would love to enjoy fully our lunches and our dinners. So just don't bring it up in front of me. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to change your mind. Okay, so just a little bit of a wrap up here. Our parents are not a reflection of who we are. In some instances, like we've talked about, you do have to pick your battles and see which issues are worth confronting and which ones you can let go. At the end of the day, understanding your parents and knowing their triggers can really help prevent bad behavior before it happens. And always remember to approach it from a respectful and empathetic space. If you can't right now, have that conversation for later. Yeah, you do what you can lah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on this episode of The Hot Pot. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Me Listen.
And subscribe to us if you haven't already.
And thank you to our guest Nick for joining us today for the very first time.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Share with us your thoughts on this topic, how you deal with your parents' bad behaviors or your grandparents or that one uncle.
Or Nicholas's bad behavior.
Yeah, our guest today a little bit
Naughty.
So, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Then
Hey,
it's,
wow, I
it's
miss-
the super quiet kid.
Last time that guy, right, he will hold his helmet.
Motorcycle helmet?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what, poly?
No, in secondary school. Cause the father
said,
fetched him.
okay.
Oh,
They'll, send him.
Imagine he ride.
No, but he will always you better shut up. Then he'll hold the helmet, ready to beat someone up, But
Then after
do not
that,
bully people,
The
okay?
teacher will say, hey, can one of y'all go and get him? Go and check on
He'll
him.
ask the best friend.
Go.